Okay. I am going to talk in this video, just so you know. I just don't know what to say. Your first instinct watching this, had it not been for the title, you would have probably thought something's tragic's happened in my life. But no, it hasn't. It hasn't at all. I wasn't going to mention VAR, right, but I'm going to mention VAR. Because I've got to. Again, I've got to mention this video assistant referee stuff that's supposed to help football. That was a model used in North American sports that could go across the ocean to Europe in its game. What? 3 incidents in one day. Okay? 3 incidents in one day that were assessed by VAR. 2 were malicious. 1 was not. Given bad luck and what have you, which team do you think was the one that wasn't malicious? Us. West Ham. I gave you a moment in case you need to think about it, but you probably didn't need to. It's damn stupid. It's damn well stupid. What I saw today was honestly the most shocking refereeing decision I think I've ever seen. And as much as I want to touch on the performance in West Ham today, we're going to have our vocal point as what happened towards the end of the game rather than the full game. How sad is this? That as I even record this video, I can't find the words to say because I'm that freaking pissed. But it finished Chelsea 2, West Ham United 1 at Stamford Bridge. A game in which West Ham played actually pretty well and it was quite end-to-end. The Moist Sat Brigade can get lost for now. In fact, you can get lost and go back in your caves for quite some time. If you think David Moyes was seriously to blame for this defeat, give your head a wobble. West Ham deserved at least a point from that. I would have got a point, or even a victory, had it not been for certain circumstances. Certain extenuating factors that was not in the players' control. I'm actually going to watch the controversial moment live on my laptop and give you my thoughts as it goes along, because I actually didn't get to see it in the flesh, really, or even see it on my TV. I can't see it in the flesh because I don't live in bloody England, but you knew that anyway. So, let's get into it. 3 new signings started for West Ham. Paqueta, Emerson, Kura. Benrahma dropped to the bench, Fornals out on the wing. Good. That's beautiful, because it's pace. If we're trying to be a counter-attacking team, like we was at the start of the 2021-22 season, we need that pace in our team. We've got Kura, who I mentioned is that ball-playing defender. Paqueta, the Brazilian Samba flair. Emerson, a pacey left-back. Thank the Lord we got one. Emerson Zuma facing the former club. We all know Declan Rice's Chelsea connection. If I had a shot for every bloody commentator that's made that, or even a bloody dollar, I don't know how much money I'd have. I'd probably have about $30 to be fair, but whatever. Paqueta was actually involved in defensive duties, if anything, and in my opinion, West Ham's midfield played very deep in that first half. Why is Paqueta, an attacking player, having to go back deep on the wings to stop Reece James and Cucurella from putting in crosses and even stop them from getting into West Ham's half. He made some good sliding tackles, to be fair. Sterling made a good run into the box. Zuma came up with a good defending. Him and Kura. We've got solidity. And West Ham's had a good few centre-back pairings over the past. I think we've got a new one with Kura and Zuma. Outstanding together. Now, as much as there's a big negative that was the rain cloud on this game, there are positives. And there are. Let's be real here. Everton showed some energy to run with the ball. Chelsea didn't move too fast to get the ball upfield. Frustrating Chelsea just seemed like the key for West Ham. The defence did it. Kara cleared the ball and a bouncing shot went out. Souček, very good, playing a deeper role off the ball. Who else? Sofal was alright on the press a little bit. And he wasn't amazing, but some of his defensive work helped. It kept the score at 0-0. Declan Rice as well, trying to get into those gaps. Rice had an alright game. Midfield acted very defensive, and it was mainly Reece James who was being locked down. This is the first moment of controversy now. Ruben Loftus-Cheek got booked in the first half earlier. He put his hand in Mikel Antonio's face, but wasn't even given a second yellow card. Like, actually smacked him in the face with his elbow going towards the nose. He wasn't even second yellowed for that. You know, Antonio admitted after the game that he no longer even bothers reacting or even getting worked up because it just falls on deaf ears. The amount of times that Antonio has been fouled and a free kick's never gone in West Ham's favour. And it is Antonio in particular, because he seems to be the victim of it. I can't even count on one hand how much it's been. He's got a right to be aggravated. Loftus-Cheek should have probably gone for that. In the second half, the drama just continued. Andy Madley, the referee, just made it a circus. He turned the game into a circus. It really was. It was like circus with all the animals. Actually, no, Peter's probably going to sue me if I say that. There's no animals at circuses anymore, people. I don't agree with elephants balancing on balls and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or tigers jumping through fiery hoops. No. The referee turned it into a joke. There, let's just keep it at that. First incident of the second half. Reece James goes down, and as he's getting up, he kicks Antonio right here in the leg. Antonio reacted badly, confronted Reece James, and both players got booked. Why was nothing done? That's like going in with your studs onto someone's leg. Isn't that considered a high tackle? Rice had to come to Antonio's defence. There. Brozier and Mount came on for Gallagher and Pulisic. Paqueta had some decent play in the second half, to be fair. Jarrod Bowen, a bit off still. Apart from one incident where Mendy punched away the corner and Bowen's volley was punched away. It was perfect save from Mendy, to be honest. Great goalkeeping. Finally, West Ham got a bit of hope. And this was Chelsea's turn to bad defending. Bad zonal marking from a corner, this. Because Declan Rice is at the far post. Antonio's right there waiting, and he's just got to scramble it into the net. Absolute pandemonium in the away end when that's gone in. 1-0 to West Ham. Incident came next. Here's another thing that people may not have noticed. I think Fabianski came out for a ball. Was he fouled? It looked like he was fouled by a Chelsea player. Kovacic and Cucurella came off, and on came Ben Chilwell and Kai Havertz. You know, Chilwell's finally trying to get back into the flow of things at Chelsea. Havertz obviously is quite a popular player. Ben Rama came on for Mikel Antonio. Just to think what could have been if Skamaka had been there, but he's still ill. 1-1 came around, and it was Chilwell not long after coming on, scoring this goal. Weird goal to score here. He got it through Fabianski's legs after two West Ham players got to the wing back, and they didn't do enough to even kind of stop it. And Chilwell just tamely pokes it under Fabianski's legs as he stood up like this coming out. It's like a dumbfounded goal. West Ham had to go more defensive at this rate. Angelo Bonner came on and Paqueta came off. Paqueta put in a decent shift. Loftus-Cheek came off. He should have been sent off earlier anyway. On came Jorginho. Cornet on for Fornals. And within minutes of Cornet coming on, we saw a positive, albeit it wasn't positive at the same time, because Benrahma's tricky footwork gets the cross in. Cornet heads it onto the post. There's quite a big open gap in the goal. He didn't even get it in. That was a bit costly as well, but it wasn't the costly thing. How it didn't go in, I don't know, but West Ham paid for it. Because a few moments later, Chelsea made it 2-1. It was Kai Havertz off the bench. All substitutes working for this. Brozier, Chilwell, first time into the box. Havertz strikes it into the left-hand side of the goal. And then, moments after the game restarts, we get into the incident with this VAR. And this is the main talking point. It might go on for a few minutes here, so grab your popcorn and your drink. So, after Havertz scores that goal, see, it's headed away. Mount tries to head it back. Souček heads it. I think that was Reece James tries to head it back to Edward Mendy. Mendy pushes it away with Bowen coming over the top. Mendy's gone down clutching his shoulder. Cornet's got time to run and shoot it. He does so. He gets it into the top right-hand corner. Runs over to the fans, sliding. He was absolutely buzzing. Someone's whispering in the referee's ear, saying, can we get this checked over because there's possibly a foul? Let me look at this. What? Excuse me, right, but what else was Bowen meant to do? Bowen's not even touched his shoulder at all, actually jumps over the keeper. The keeper's just in a bit of wrong place at the wrong time, and it's the keeper for parrying it. Mendy's clutched his shoulder to imply that there's been a foul. So that immediately casts doubt in the officials' minds. And that leads to the check happening. Madley's advised by some person who's watching from a computer screen and doesn't even have a bird's eye view over to the monitor. And I didn't find this out until recently. There's referee, a VAR, and a VAR assistant. 3 people. One's got eyes of his own and can literally see what is going on the field. Visually see what's going on. That is the best judgment. The referee should have the best judgment because he is physically there. What's someone in Stockley Park going to do? Look at it from every bloody possible angle, like a freaking photographer. That is just... I'm fuming about that. That is a shocking decision. It's one at worst I think I've ever seen, if not the worst. The amount of people who commented about it, even our own players, Declan Rice did it, Mikel Antonio did it, David Moyes screamed at the referee in the dressing room and swore at him. Who else? Darren Bent said something on Twitter. Tom Rennie said something on Twitter. Even a Chelsea fan said, I'm a Chelsea fan and I've got to admit that West Ham goal should have stood. There's fans of other clubs who hate West Ham, who've learned to hate David Moyes because of what he did at Manchester United. But they'll all come in unity and say that was absolutely wrong. Because it was. Van Dijk stamps on Onana's foot. Nothing happened. Even though that could have broken the guy's foot. Villa had a goal chalked off. Wasn't even offside. And it was clear as day that the Villa was onside for that goal. But that was disallowed. And it wasn't the main kickoff. And then Gerald Bowen jumps over a goalkeeper to get out of his way. His momentum causes him to kind of jump over Mendy. It's not wrong place, wrong time. It just is what it is. That's fine. And it's not even a foul. There's no malintent on it at all. We've said it before so many times. It is becoming a bit of a cliche, but it is the best league in the world, is the Premier League, but it has the worst officials. I wouldn't be surprised if we get no referees going to the World Cup in Qatar. No referees went to the 2018 World Cup in Russia, and you wonder why. You wonder why that is, because their standard of officiating would not be considered acceptable at the international stage. The World Cup's more pressure because you've got more eyes on you and you've got more fans getting on your back. We don't have referees these days with integrity. People like, people like Pierluigi Collina, or even English referees like David Elleray and Howard Webb. People such as those people who actually, even though people dislike them, they at least had that integrity and that honesty about them at times. North American sports uses VAR because things are very fine margin there. Whether you broke the plane with the football, or you were minimal contact when taking a shot at the hoop. I get that. It doesn't transcend into Europe. And in fact, we cried out for VAR for so many years because of like Lampard's goal against Germany that was disallowed, or Thierry Henry's handball against Ireland. Those things have been bringing back painful memories, because had technology existed then, things might have been different. Now we have it, and it's not helping some teams out. There's definitely this big six bias, because if that were Man City or something, yeah, it probably would have been given. We played really well against Forest, and we came away with nothing because of just how it was. You know what I'm saying? We played well against Spurs. We drew 1-1. We played quite well against Chelsea and we came away with nothing. I wouldn't say we've been trash at all in terms of our performances. But you're telling me luck isn't involved in this? You're having me on. No. You're having me on. It's just... The fact of the matter is that the referee's actually got two other people in his ear trying to make a decision for him, and that just puts more pressure on the ref, where he's gone to look at his board and check things out. It's more pressure. It's more expectation to make a decision, whether it be right or wrong. Do they act in the heat of the moment? I don't know. I hope not. Because you have to have logic. It's all happening too often with these smaller teams, I think. The league is corrupt because of this. The concept of football is becoming flawed because of this. If you've never had a VAR decision go against you, that's a privilege. If you've never been suspected of a foul, that's a privilege. If you've never had a referee not change a decision because it helps your favour, that's a massive privilege and a bias. The Premier League can attract so much talent, but when players actually come here and realise some of these flaws with the, system that there is, it really does raise a lot of questions. It's not good enough, really. I don't even think a massive review is going to help. What's the FA going to exactly do? Nothing. So the referees get the paychecks, they're fine. But today, West Ham was denied a point. It could have been 3, obviously. The corner header can slide because, obviously, he was buzzing to score that goal. It would have been so good for his confidence. And I hope that it doesn't knock his confidence. And as for David Moyes and the players who criticised it, do you know what? Fine them. Ban them. They just spoke their minds. What's wrong with speaking your mind? It shows honesty. It's coming from the heart. It's not just what people want to hear. Maybe more players should speak out about VAR. Maybe the journalists should challenge the officials a bit more. Maybe we should do interviews with referees after games, because, hey, we might learn a thing or two there. But, man, I'm just pissed off after this. I really am. It's not how I want my weekend to be. Things are just never probably going to change with VAR. I don't know why I waste my breath. It's just absolute liberty, really. And, I just don't want to go off in a big rant, so I think I'll just stop it right here.